Now we start this hour with a GB News exclusive, and Rishi Sunak is sticking to his guns and says the Rwanda plan is the best deterrent to stop illegal migrants coming to the UK. Well, the Prime Minister was in Vienna this morning for talks with the Austrian Chancellor Karl Nehammer. Mr Sunak says as many as 15 EU member states are preparing to follow Britain's lead on migration.
That's why our Rwanda scheme is so important. We are pioneering something new. I said when I first got this job that where Britain leads, others would follow when it comes to tackling illegal migration, and you can see that that is now clearly the case. And I've had very constructive dialogue today with the Chancellor here in Austria about what more we can do to work together and, again, to lead this conversation in Europe, as we are seeing others are seeing what we have seen, that the only way to fully solve this problem is to have a deterrent, make sure that you can remove people to a safe third country. That's how you break this criminal gangs. It should be us that decide who come to our country and not them.
Well, the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak was talking to GB News' political correspondent Katherine Forster in Vienna earlier today, and I'm delighted now to say she joins me back in the studio in Westminster. Katherine, have you got a TARDIS? Anyway, great work. And it has to be said, credit where it's due, Rishi Sunak has had a good news day. Who would have thought 15 member states of the European Union now want to emulate Rwanda?
Yes, indeed. And there we were in Vienna, and the Austrian Chancellor Karl Nehammer lavishing him with praise, basically saying that Britain is leading the way and that they need novel, new ideas because the huge challenge of illegal migration across Europe, and 15 countries last week signed a letter basically saying we agree that this is a model that we should be looking at because what they're currently doing is simply not working. So lauding praise on Rishi Sunak. Yes, he's had a very good day today, and also some figures that he revealed exclusively to us on GB News that already this year the government has returned 10,000 people back out of this country, which is 2,000 more than we were at this point last year, and also 1,700 foreign national offenders, 400 up on last year. So, you know, OK, not a single flight has gone to Rwanda, but the Prime Minister really did have a spring in his step. You know, nobody's gone. There's constant interventions from people in his own party. The polls are dire. And yet, talking to him on the plane, talking to him in Vienna, he genuinely seems energetic and upbeat. He genuinely seems to believe that he can still do this.
And excellent work, by the way. Well done. You're getting there and getting back and giving us the full inside line. Thank you very much for doing that. It's an incredible state of affairs that Brexit Britain, post-Brexit Britain, setting the tempo, setting the rhythm for other European member states, looking to the UK for inspiration. Now they're going to write to the European Commission in Brussels. Ursula von der Leyen is the president of the European Commission. That's going to be a very interesting opening of an envelope.
Yes, it really is. And you know, this is great news for Rishi Sunak. Unfortunately for him, the plan seems to be more popular in Europe than it does in the UK because so many people believe these flights are not going to take off. But he has said from July, regular flights, so we will not have long to wait. And he said to us today, I won't stop until we have stopped the boats. The problem is, of course, there's going to be a general election. Things can always change. But if, as currently looks likely, Labour come in, then it will be out of his hands. And another thing he did say, and having a dig at Labour basically, he was saying anyone who says that you can stop the boats without some sort of deterrent measure like sending people to a third country is not being straight with you.
Katherine, this is a chess move perhaps nobody saw coming. I don't think anybody did at GB News. Rishi Sunak has bet the house on Rwanda working, as you said, could soon be out of power. A poll out today, Labour 20 points ahead for 10 consecutive weeks. That's the first time that's happened. Sir Keir Starmer already said he's going to axe this plan on day one. And yet, now 15 of the member states might say, we want to stick with Rwanda. And Sir Keir Starmer, a Europhile. What a state of affairs.
It is amazing. And yes, as you say, Keir Starmer has said explicitly, if Labour get into power, they will axe this scheme straight away. There will be no more flights. Now, I think if there are regular flights, of course it's a big if, but if there are regular flights taking off of people to Rwanda, if the rest of Europe is starting to model this themselves, I think it's going to be politically quite difficult for Starmer then to come in and just go no. And of course, you know, Labour unveiled their plans, this small boat command, but the government are saying, hang on, we're already doing this stuff. We're already cracking down on the gangs. We're already working across Europe. So, yeah, a good day for Rishi Sunak, and likely to be another one tomorrow because inflation likely to come down to 2%. So they'll be very happy with that. Also, the IMF, good news from the IMF, our growth projections, I think, are up.
And astonishing because Ursula von der Leyen, of course, the aforementioned EC president, recently said that she favours a Rwanda-style scheme in her domestic politics. Perhaps Britain was the first up the ladder, the pioneer on this plan. Now it's catching on. Catherine, I always ask Chris Hope the same question. I want to ask you, you were up close and personal. You were looking Rishi Sunak in the eyeballs. You can't get a feeling what that was like on television. Does he seem like a man who's confident and full of beans and still very much enjoying the job? Or can you detect that weariness?
Honestly, of course, he's going to sort of put his best foot forward with journalists. But, you know, we were on a very small plane last night. There was only 14 people on the plane in total. Had a chat with him going out, coming back and in Vienna. He genuinely seems upbeat. He genuinely seems to believe that he can still make a difference and that it's all to play for. I find that quite incredible considering the polls, but he seems to have the energy.
Yeah, and a boundless optimism. Katherine Forster, once again, well done for getting to Vienna and back in time to bring me that news. Thank you very much. Much appreciated.